The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent, located 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, April 25th, 2013.
Jennifer, would you lead?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have somebody who will do dedication.
Bow our heads, please. Our Father in heaven, we just come before you, we bow our heads in acknowledgement that you are sovereign over the affairs of men. We ask that your will would be done here in this meeting. We ask that you be with each and every person here in this room to give them wisdom in addressing the needs and concerns. Give wisdom to the council, Lord, that they will make wise and proper decisions, Lord, that need to be made today. We just ask that you have your hand over all that's done in this meeting. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Jennifer, roll call. Karen. Here. Present. Here. Here.
Councilman Bynum is absent. City Clerk Alward.
Yep.
City Attorney Briggs.
Here.
City Treasurer Trask.
Here.
City Fire Chief Rivera.
Here.
City Engineer Alward.
Here.
City Building Inspector Christensen.
Here.
City Water Sewer Supervisor Jenkins.
Here.
City Landfill Street Supervisor Short.
Here.
City Parks Animal Control Supervisor Pettigrew.
Here. All right, with that, we'll, I would say, I think it's wonderful if young people bring their signs tonight. If we just ask you not to hold them up too long in front of people to distract other people from what we do recognize them, not let people. Thank you. Yes, please.
I ask them, keep them down until their mom is speaking.
Thank you.
And we just hold them up when their mom's talking.
Just for other people. Okay. Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll go to public comment. Comments not exceeding 3 minutes a week to be accepted from the general public and attendance. If any are made, these may be discussions upon these items. No vote, decision, or action may be taken upon matters raised under these items until it's formally placed on the agenda. Comments during discussion items will not be accepted from the general public. Section 8.04 of the Nevada Open Meeting Law Manual indicates that the public body may prohibit the comment if the content of the comments of the topic is not relevant to or within the authority of the public body, or if the content of the comments is totally disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, or frantic. And finally, thank you. The rational amounting to personal attacks or interfering with the rights of other speakers. Well, that would open it for public comment.
Bruce Sedestrom. Mr. Mayor, once again, I gotta ask that you allow people to speak during an agenda item. I noticed that the Corral Association has an item on the agenda, and I have no idea how any of the councilmen feel about it or what's gonna happen. So I don't know what to say to, about it. So I guess I'll address 2 or 3 issues. Don't know if they're gonna come up or not. Number one, I think in the meeting last year, the council agreed that Rick Stork would grade it and take care of the roads. I don't know if that's been done or not, but I think they should. And I think it's an amenity that the city has offering to people, to the citizens, and it should be treated just like a park, any other park in the city. This lady just told me that she takes her kids there all the time. She's not a member, she doesn't own a horse, doesn't own an animal, but she goes down and visits it and visits, lets the kids play with the animals. What else was going to discuss? Since I don't know what you guys are going to discuss, I hope you approve any improvements to the Corral Association. And it's hard to discuss something when we don't know what you're going to vote on. Also, I don't know where it came from, if it's on the agenda or not, but talking about the backstop, taking it out, I see there's a lot of public against it. And the only thing to say about that is if the council votes against taking the backstop out, they should be glad that the kids aren't allowed to vote.
I'm sure that during the agenda item that Jan Carl, who's the spokesperson, she wants to call us somebody to help her out. That'd be fine.
Okay, Jan's part of the association, though, she's not part of the public. She doesn't represent this lady.
She wants her call us. And this lady can make her comment now. Peggy?
My name is Peggy Romero, and it comes to my attention that the City Council has voted to remove the baseball fields and backstop at Broadbent Park and replace them with a low fence because the council feels that the field is not being utilized by the public. I strongly disagree with this decision and am requesting the council to reconsider. With the addition of the White Pine Fast Pitch League that started last year, our young players were faced with the problem of few baseball fields and practice on. The Fast Pitch League has 8 teams and is only allowed to use one field at Marriage Field during the weekdays because the other 2 are reserved for the girls' high school team. The Little League fields are reserved for the Major League Division and the boys' high school team only. The minor league, t-ball league, and softball league are all left to fight over 2 backstops, and that's Steptoe Park and one at Broadbent Park. This city is already scarce on the facilities for children to play sports at, and with the removal of this field, it will become even more difficult for coaches to find a place to hold their practices. On to the safety of having the backstop and tall fencing is to keep the balls from going over the fence and hitting a child playing at the playground. And also to keep hot flies from going over the fence and into the street to leave our children chasing balls into busy traffic, passing by and not breaking windshields for parked vehicles in the area and incoming traffic. I just don't see what the purpose of wanting to take down the backstop and fencing is when clearly it is being used 5 days a week for these teams, and even with the backstop, there still isn't enough space for all our teams. And it would really be nice if someday, somehow, we could see another baseball field with the backstop go up. This year, the boys' leagues had an excellent turnout, and it was able to make 20 teams. And counting our eight girls teams, and soon our U14 girls teams will be practicing, which makes approximately 29 teams to share all these fields. And soon games will start, and Marriage Field will be out of the question for practices. So I would like to thank you for your attention in this matter, and hope you will put all this in consideration and reverse your decision for our kids' sake. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Anybody else for public comment?
Oh, yeah.
I've never done this before. My name is Genevieve Nelson. I have a letter from the White Pine Fast Pitch League, and I don't know who I should give this to. I also have a petition.
Turn that by the agenda.
I have 4 children, and it has come to my attention that the city plans to tear down the backstop at Broadbent Park. I have been informed that the new park plans do not include any replacement backstops. To my understanding, Broadbent Park is the only city park that has any baseball facilities at all. With the removal of this backstop, it will have none. As a parent, we use this field not only for organized sports, such as Little League practice and softball practice, but we also use it to get together with family and friends and put together softball and kickball games. I feel it is imperative to keep these kinds of facilities so that our kids have access to recreation. I think it would be nice to see some new practice fields at Broadbent, like the ones in Steptoe Park. They are low cost and low maintenance. This would alleviate some of the overcrowding at Steptoe during baseball and soccer seasons. I have heard of some ideas to put in portable backstops. I do not think this idea will work well. Some of the girls on my daughter's softball team are nearly as tall as I am, and also, as I stated before, adults would like the opportunity to use these as well. I would also like to see restroom facilities in the new plans if it is feasible at all. Some of you I already know, and some of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. I think you all do a fabulous job for our city, and I want you to know that my intention is not to derail any progress you have already made with the beautification and upgrade plans of Broadbent. I want to make sure that the park is being utilized to its fullest potential for my kids and for generations of kids to come. Thank you for your attention in this matter, and I hope you are willing to consider either leaving the current backstop and practice field where it is, or adding new ones to the new park plan.
Thank you very much.
interested in the beautification of Ely. This is a group of dedicated volunteers who are interested in coordinating the efforts between citizens, business owners, and government to make our town more aesthetically pleasing. Our first project of 2013 will be held on May 3rd and 4th, Ely Cleanup Days. This project will be heavily dedicated to the tourism areas of town, mainly downtown and 11th Street, near the Nevada Northern Railway. I am here to respectfully ask the council to support our cause and show our pride as one of the nation's top 10 combatant towns. First, I would like to request you to allow the street department to assist in the cleaning of the gutters of the downtown and 11th Street on Monday, May 6th, after the volunteers cleaned up the sidewalks and the windows, and through a joint effort through the street department, the fire department, and possibly the county and highway departments, I believe that this can take place on May 6th. I would secondly like to request that through cooperation with town, we would be able to contact some of the out-of-town business owners and property owners to see if we can't get those areas cleaned up, hopefully get some paint and some materials from them. And lastly, I would, and most urgently, we need cleaning supplies such as trash bags, trash cans, brooms, buckets, and general cleaning supplies. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Mary. And who else for public comment?
I found another petition form that I forgot to hand you. Sorry.
If you want to say anything, you don't have to be an adult to get up there and speak.
If you want to get up there and say something, you can. Marcy, you can get up there and say what you want to say.
Get that microphone for here.
Marissa, just tell them what you want them to do.
There you go. You got 3 minutes now.
Could you guys put in new backstops instead of the old ones?
What's your name here? Martha Nelson. Thank you, Martha.
No, Marissa
Marissa.
Kemmler.
Marissa Kemmler.
Marissa Kemmler.
Marissa.
Just ask them. They're the ones that make the decisions, so tell them what you think.
I think you guys should put in new backstops
Okay.
because there was like 5 teams there
And only how many backstops?
and only 1 backstop.
Good job.
Thank you, Melissa. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Who else for public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to reflect a lot of what was said earlier. I spoke against you folks taking out the diamond. It's about time you put it back in. You've had testimony given to you today about what is coming down the pike, and the diamond would just help what they want to do. Mr. Mayor, you to date have not addressed as to why you're charging the White River Museum residential rates and charging me commercial rates for my home when I'm not in business. I believe there's blatant intentional discrimination by the people in the city, and it needs to stop. I am again requesting a response in writing or the basis for your refusal. Recently, you exempted or let go of fees due from 2 commercial entities and at least 2 residents. I pay every month. I'm not going to overpay like you folks may think I should. Federal law clearly states that you may not discriminate in any federally funded or assisted public utility. I'm also requesting, as I have before and I've not received it yet, a copy of the billing from Senator Pete Govachia and his accumulated bill. I believe at the recent county commission meeting he said he owed $500, and that didn't include the penalties and interest. You need to start treating people equally and fairly, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I've asked in the past, and I'm asking again, you have yet to say where the $270,000 from the county has gone. At a previous meeting, Councilman Bybee said, City Councilman Bybee stated, we haven't cashed the check. Well, where is it? Show me the money.
I told you we haven't got the money yet.
They said they sent it. Mr. Biden says we haven't cashed it. You're misleading the public. That needs to stop. Mr. Mayor, I went to City Hall for the roster, and they wanted to charge me $43.50. The law allows me a copy of that roster. Yes, it does.
Read the law.
Without,
Says you can examine it, but if you want a copy, you pay a public.
now, I received it in the past without paying for it, Councilor. You need to get a hold of the Secretary of State's office. I was also called by Robin stating that it was available for me, and it's been waiting since the 3rd of April. Is that why you couldn't find it on the 8th or the 11th when you opened up the sealed boxes here? If people can't tell the truth, they shouldn't lie. That's got to stop. Mr. Mayor, I've yet to see anything done with the corner of the Copper Queen. Still 45 feet. When was it narrowed? We put it on the agenda. What fees were paid? Also, in that same area, you got at least 4 leaks that your water crew has repaired. That tells me again, you need to go back and look at that Parker project. You're loading your people for no reason at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. Is there anybody else for public comment? I'd like to comment on the corrals, anything? Okay. If there's no other public comment, I'll close the public comment, and we'll move on with the agenda. Number 3, City Department reports, Fire Chief, Ross, anything that anything you agree?
Currently working on a job description for the fifth firefighter. Hopefully I'll have that done first. And for review, like to review that.
We're still having some problem with that solar thing, getting information from them.
We have had no correspondence since they told me they would be out between 15th and 22nd of April. Not saying we won't make it or nothing, so.
I'll send them another letter.
It's winter time's over, second year we've had that sort of system. We have not been able to use it, and not provide us any savings in heating. A lot of money spent. Right now it's useless, it hasn't been used since 2 years, so.
They can go into West Florida. Anything else?
I'd just like to hear that. I hate to see that, like we did last time, was get it operating in the summer months, create heat, and turn around and they had to put a system in to dissipate that heat, because it was creating too much heat. It doesn't do any good for the heating in the summertime. I think that was really a poor fix for another issue that happened with that solar thermal system.
We'll send another letter.
Thank you.
Okay, police chief, we have City Clerk. City Attorney.
I don't have any report.
City Engineer.
We've been very busy last while here getting some projects out for the city. We're completing replacing the screw pump down at the wastewater treatment plant. Those plans are out there and available, and we've had multiple contractors, our suppliers basically contacting us trying to get that, so that seems like it's proceeding well. Center Street water project, we had a walkthrough earlier this week on Tuesday, I believe it was. The mayor, council member there with us, city staff. Seemed to go through pretty well. We walked from one end to the other. Bottom line at the end of the thing was there was a couple intersections that they asked to get cleaned up a little bit so that Rick, when they walk away from the project, Rick's sweeper truck would be able to sweep the rocks and keep that area clean. Another one was they are going to raise one of the hydrants was low. Per Ross's checklist that he had in there, so they're going to go back and raise that hydrant and put an extension on it on the Bat Avenue. Paving for the RTC project, the RTC had requested us to have a public forum, public meeting where we invited the citizens that live in the area to come and see what's being presented and proposed down there for construction. That happened this week on Wednesday, and I think it was quite a success. There was probably 5-6 residences that showed up here, had plenty of questions, and I think they were very satisfied of what the plans were of the project, and looking forward to later in the summer the completion of Avenue Road adjacent to the properties. Let's see here. I did get Kevin did send out an email about the cross connection and the ordinance there, and I'm in complete support of him where he's saying, hey, it's going to take a little time because this is a complicated ordinance, he wants to make sure we get it right. And so I'm in agreement there. I was approached by the railroad. They are in the process of doing a maintenance project on their lines, and they needed some assistance. And so I told them that I would do what we can to assist them with that, and I would inform you guys of that request, and so that you guys are aware of what we were trying to accomplish. And then, we also have a material bid, but we'll discuss that, because that's actually on the agenda item. Any questions?
Thank you, BJ. Now we'll go on to number 4, items for discussion of possible action of the Union City Council as recommended by the City Planning Commission. Number 1, Chairman Blanket, discussion possible action approval of annual cleanup campaign plan where one street per week would be cleaned from May to September. Already get up there and tell us what you got going on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council and visitors here today. It's a proposal that we've come up with from the City Planning Commission, and make one correction here. It's where one street, no, not one street, the residents along that street. I don't know how we can clean the street. Anyway, the intent is an idea that's come up, and it's not a new idea or made up by us. It's something that we have seen that actually applies to other communities and has worked. And that's beginning within an area of where you want to clean up. But what you do is you let the people know along that street, on both sides of the street, that you'll be here to clean up and pick up trash and whatnot from within your area. In other words, as you are in a household, we're not asking for you to put your household garbage or anything like that out to the curb. What we're saying is what's around, like a discarded refrigerator or something like that, that kind of makes your community look and your neighborhood look a little messy, is to come before there and put it to the curb. And what we're requesting is to ask the city if they have the possibility and the funds and the availability of the manpower plus the equipment to give us 4 hours on every Monday morning of the month, from 8 o'clock to noon, to pick up this and take it to the landfill at no cost to the property owner because they're already paying landfill fees. The idea is move your litter to the curb. Then we come along and pick it up. Little by little, you're going to clean up the community, and you won't have the trashy looks around the residents and whatnot. Doing a cleanup, an annual cleanup of 1 or 2 days or 1 weekend or whatever, works for that weekend. But if we want to improve our community, we have to do it continuously, and our proposal is to start in May and end in September. And every week, notify the property owners on that street that they will be notified on Friday, so they have the entire weekend to collect whatever they have that they want out of their yard and their property around to be taken to the landfill, to put it to the curb, and Monday morning we just go by and pick it up and haul it away. This has worked in many communities, and if any of you travel through small towns or cities in Utah, Idaho, and you'll see how nice and neat their communities look and clean. This is how they do it. Now, I can't answer for the city. I'm going to ask, and I don't know, finances, I realize they're not the strongest item that you have, but contributing 4 hours a week for 4 or 5 months, I think would instill some pride back into our community, instill some beauty into it. And if you want a shock of your life sometime, there are 4 main entrances into the city of Ely. One coming down from the Route Highway or from the hill, or coming off the Great Basin Highway, or right down Mill Street. They'll drive up about a mile out of town, turn around and come back, and pretend like this is the first time you've ever come to this community. Slow down, take a look on both sides of the street, and you will not see a very presentable attitude or looks of our community. We can correct that. And if you want to entice new business, new residents in this community, we've got to start looking like we want it. And by doing that, cleaning it up, and straightening this community out considerably, I think would be a positive benefit. And it would be, if the city could help us to go on this campaign, it would be a very benefit to the city. I think the residents of the city would appreciate to see their city out helping them maintain a nice community. We were selected by CNN as one of the top small communities in the country for coming up and being a good community and trying our hardest to do it. We seldom hear about it within our own community, but I guess nationally we're recognized. But we don't seem to establish that recognition. I think it's now time that we take pride in this community, and I'm asking the city to give us that little amount. We will go out and do the walking to let people, as an example, to give you an example, I would, if we were to take this on, I would look at the Murray Canyon area first. Start with Murray Street. There's exactly 71 residents on both sides of Murray Street. It wouldn't take very long to pick up that litter from those residents and clean up that street or that neighborhood. Then the next week, move to Mill Street. And the week after, to Pine Street, Canyon Street, and right on. Within 1 month, we've got this section of town taken care of. It wouldn't take very long, or whatnot, to do a cleanup campaign for our community. I'm asking the city council to consider also if they have recommendations that we have overlooked, to give us those recommendations. I realize the cost of an operation of a dump truck in a couple of men. I don't know what your rules are, how many men have to be on a truck, or whatever, but to start with. And I think then, after, once we get going, I think I can get volunteer work going from other types. Maybe some of the construction companies in town would donate one of their trucks for 2 hours during that time to help out. I think it can be accomplished, but we should try to do something.
Let me get a little more specific with this, Ernie. Now, they'd be able to put anything out. In other words, if they have a washing machine or an old hot water heater or something like that, that would all be part of it. But you're not advocating that we go onto their property and clean their
we
jobs.
can't do that. That's private property. We're asking them to put it to the curb.
They have to put it out. So it's a volunteer that they have to put it out. Now, the only other thing I would have to talk to our, probably Kevin about this, our attorney. If there's something with Ely Disposal, is there a competition thing? I've heard this in the past, and I'm not sure. Is Ely Disposal going to say, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that because we have a contract as a business in town? I'm just wondering how that would, is there anything that you know of?
I would think that with this not applying to household garbage, that this would not be in competition with that business. So I don't believe.
Plus, they wouldn't be charging either, so.
Well, just the fact that you're not charging, I understand that Ely Disposal does have an exclusive franchise to pick up household garbage. But because we would not be picking up household garbage, that there would be no competition there.
That's what big concerns legally. We have to look at that. That sounds like we're clear there. So
Well, I agree with that, and that is something that we took a look at, and as we looked over that effect, no, we're not in competition with it, and we don't want to be in competition. This would be stuff they wouldn't pick up anyway.
I know, Ernie, I've known you since I've been in town. And you've been working on this for a long time, and this is very dear to your heart. I assume the planning commission passed this with no problem?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from? Personally, I think it's a great idea. I think my only concern was that thing with
the only thing I've got to say at this point, I cannot come up with a financial obligation of the city for this. I don't know what it costs to operate the truck. I have no idea what it costs for your manpower or what you pay an hour or anything. That is one thing I cannot answer, but, I
Well,
think
you
it's
can't answer the
minimal
fact
in
whether
comparison.
they'll put the trash out too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, any questions or discussion on this, how we're gonna handle this?
I think it's a great idea, and I don't know how you can pencil in a cost to see how much time it would take to do anything. And I can't see why we shouldn't try it and see if it's something we can't do after a month. Then we could address it at that time. But I don't know how anybody's gonna know how much stuff's gonna be put out, but there's a lot of people that don't have a truck to take garbage to the dump that they can't put it with e-disposal. So.
It's also,
How about the city supervisor, has he got enough slack time to do that?
well, I think Rick will go by what you tell him and we'll figure it out.
The landfill, I could get a dump truck from there and a driver to come along if they had somebody to load the trucks. My trouble with the landfill is I'm down one man for the next 3 months that is off of work. And that puts me to 3 people a day at the landfill, and I need 2 on top and 1 at the gate to pretty well run the landfill. But I can cut a guy loose for a while as long as I've got him there at the end of the day to help the guy on top cover. So if somebody happens to be extra on vacation and I'm real short-handed, there may be, depending on scheduling, there may be a week that I may not be able to provide.
We'll get something figured out there through passing. There's also been talk about using the honor camp. Now, I know of other communities that have done this, and then I get this thing about, well, you can't use the honor camp for that, but there are cases where the honor camp has been used. Not necessarily driving the truck. Our people might drive the truck, but if we get some of the guys from the honor camp, I don't know, it's just an idea.
Well, that's strictly wrong with the honor camp, and I discussed that with some member operation of the honor camp. If they're available, if they're not called out by the state for other activities or something else coming on, like a fire out in the field or something, they would be available. They could be available, provided they're notified in time. Also, something that the city attorney mentioned to us in our meeting and whatnot was some of these, where they have to do civic work or something.
Community service work, the
what?
people that have been convicted of things, sometimes there's mandatory community service associated with that, and sometimes it's hard to find places for them to go.
So this would be a place that we could use them to help pick some of this up.
And like Rick says, if you short people or something like that, that's a great idea to utilize this. And these people are trying to pay a debt to society, and it's like Kevin says, sometimes we don't have, there's not that many things that we have that are pinpointed for them to do. It's something we can utilize.
Now, if there is a problem like Monday morning for some reason, some kind of a storm or something, we've got to keep everybody up at the city dump. I mean, is there any accountability involved in this? If we got stuff set out on the street that we tell Tuesday to pick it up, would there be if something would happen and move that a little bit, and we still got to pick it up? Is that that would be?
Well, there's a possibility to look at it this way. If something was to happen on Monday that we couldn't do it, then maybe we could move to Tuesday on that particular street. There's going to be exceptions and examples and problems always arising.
I don't see where there'd be any liability.
But I just have a real feeling that we should do something to try to clean up our community. And I think by doing this, we'll start instilling some pride back into our community, which is definitely needed. Is there any other questions I could try to answer?
I just want to say that I strongly agree with Ernie, and I think it's time that the city take a leadership role and offer to do this for the people, and hopefully they will step up to the plate and take us up on the offer to help.
Can I make a motion to approve this?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll get it all worked out there.
Okay, well, I would like to work with whomever you're going to have work with me. I'm sure that Julie's going to have to be involved with financial. Rick I would like to get the program started. The sooner the
May,
better.
you're talking about that.
What's that?
Start on May
Talk about
1st.
So, thank you very much. I
May. We'll get
appreciate
some
that.
details.
We got like, what, 5 days to start?
Well, I'm gonna have to take a little bit longer than that, because I haven't printed up any flyers to distribute yet.
Ernie Mason, keep up there, let me read the next thing in because it's part of your, thing. Number 2, member, Chelsky, discussion, possible action, consideration to send a letter of, was that purification? That was the one that was and support of the Nevada Housing Division regarding the Gregory Development Group's proposed Highland Terrace and Highland Terrace Annex Apartments project and its application for low-income housing tax credits. What's this about, Ernie?
Before we go too far, I did receive a call from Holly Gregory right before the meeting, and she apologized for not being able to be down here today. She is from Gregory Development Group, which is, I guess the letter is addressing them. She asked that I call her, so if we can get her on the phone. And that way she can answer any questions that you guys have.
Well, we did recommend that the letter that is proposed to be sent off on this after talking to the person with the, what was her name, Lopez?
That's Hillary Lopez.
Yeah, Hillary Lopez. And the Gregory Development Group is agent of the company.
Hi Holly, it's Kevin Briggs from the city of Ely. I've got you on speakerphone and the agenda item has just come up, so we'll let you listen and if they have any questions, then the city council will ask.
Are they located in Elko? This Gregory Development?
Okay.
I know those people.
Go ahead, Ernie, tell us about it.
Well, when reviewing that and discussing it with them, we realized what it was and whatnot, and we did give our recommendation for approval.
What exactly, explain what it is.
Well,
maybe it'd be best to have Holly explain.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Holly,
exactly.
can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we got you a little microphone so everybody else can hear. Explain what you're trying to do here.
What we're trying to do is to rehab both of the existing properties. They're both getting older, we'd like to put on new roofs, stucco siding. We'll go in and put in some, I'm not sure there's new cabinets, but we're going to go in and put cash infusion of almost $6 million in the 2 properties. Actually, it's closer to $5 million. In the 2 properties.
How many apartments are you talking about? Units.
It's 48 altogether, sir.
What's that?
Mine is 24 and 35. So the Highland is a little larger.
24 and 35. And you need this letter for us to send, is that what it is, for a low income?